Hey everybody, thanks for checking out today's video. So in this one, we're going to continue on the things I wish that I knew when I first started the game. This is going to be a part 2 in the series. I'm not exactly sure how many there will be, but if you didn't watch the first one, I'd go back and watch part 1. So this is all going to be information that I think is really valuable for a player, especially when they're first starting out. I want to make sure that people that are new to the game make it as easy as possible, because sometimes, especially with at least Gemstone Legends, it can be very confusing and a little bit overwhelming when you first start. So I'm hoping that through this series that it makes everything easy for someone who's just beginning. So let's get started. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to talk about is applying your arena medals to your cabinet. So if you go to your arena and then go into the cabinet, you're going to see that you can apply those medals to different parts of your cabinet. Now, it is a little confusing because you think that it might only be for the arena, but it's not. When you put those tokens, the medals that you get throughout the week for being in the arena and on the Sunday reset, when you apply those, it's going to impact your whole game. Excuse me. It's going to impact your raid bosses, your rifts, your campaign, all of that. So I highly recommend that right from the get-go, you really pay attention to your cabinet, because it's going to make your gameplay so much easier. The next thing that I'm going to talk about is energy. So energy is replenished over time, and then you have a max amount of energy based on what level you are. So depending on where you are in the game, it does increase as you level up. So like my little account right now has maximum 32 energy, whereas my main account has 120. So that does replenish over time. And then you'll accrue more energy for things like completing a certain amount of time in the game. You get a time reward for that. And then different like guild bonuses or different events you can get energy for with that. When you're first starting, what I recommend doing is depleting all of your energy and then let that restock entirely before you go in and accrue more energy through like a loot, because that way you can maximize how much energy usage you have. It can be more time consuming to do it a little bit that way as far as real life goes, but you're going to get more energy in the long run instead of just redeeming that. Once energy goes into your inbox, it's going to have an expiration date on it, and sometimes it's 99 days, sometimes it's 6 days. So make sure to pay attention to that and redeem the ones that expire sooner, so that way you always have a good stockpile of extra energy if you're low on gems and you don't want to buy the energy refills whenever you're playing. So that's just my personal recommendation on that, is to let the energy that you have completely go down and then let it restock and then use a bonus on top of that. That way you can maximize all of your energy. The next one that I want to talk about is events. So you're going to see the event calendar, and it is just jam-packed with stuff all the time. I wouldn't stress about that, especially when you're first starting the game. As you go along, it's going to get a lot easier, and you'll kind of know like what events do what, and pay attention to what happens with those events. But in my opinion, for those that are first starting, I think it's more important to focus on whatever is going to improve your personal gameplay than it would be to focus on an event, unless they happen to coincide. So like if you're really working hard to make your heroes into cauldrons and ascend heroes, focus on that and just kind of dismiss the events. Yes, the loot is good, and if you can do a little bit of it, that's fine, but I don't think that an event should be your priority when you're first starting. The next thing I'm going to talk about is the market. Now, in video 1, I talked about things that I think that you should use your coins and gems on, and somehow I just completely forgot the market and all of that. So in the market, there are different slots that are going to change over time. So like every X amount of hours, it's going to be new stuff. So as far as what I think that you should spend money on in the market, I would do the way that the math goes and the accruing different things. Bronze scrolls and gold scrolls are going to be, they're going to make sense monetarily speaking in the market. Silver scroll does not. and I'd have to go back and find the math, and I can't remember exactly like where all that came from, but it just doesn't benefit you as much from the math that I have seen to purchase silver scrolls, so I just ignore those entirely. Always try to purchase potions until you can get your potion supply up. You're going to be using a lot of those, especially against raid bosses if you're in a guild, which I definitely recommend doing. So especially like mana and health. Health, I feel like I somehow get in loot way more than other potions, so I focus on purchasing the other ones like the mana potions or dragon potions, those kinds of things. You'll see artifacts and heroes come through, and that's kind of up to your personal take on whether or not you want to purchase those. I personally don't like purchasing artifacts in the market because I feel like if I can go grind in the rifts, I'm just gonna do that and get it for free so I can save up my gold to do things like fusions or ascending heroes, like different things like that I'm gonna need the guild for. Now, I have seen some good gear or good artifacts come through the market. I would not purchase anything that's less than a 4-star, and I wouldn't pay attention to the substats. I don't like that, like, I'm not gonna know what is going to increase whenever I do that, so I'm not a big fan of buying artifacts, but I know people who love to do that and they get really good pieces that way. So that's just kind of your personal opinion on what you feel like you should buy in the market. So to recap that, potions, bronze and gold scrolls, and then artifacts or heroes are really up to your own personal take on what you prefer. The last thing that I want to talk about is one of the reasons I love this game very much, and it's the ability to balance real life while playing. With Gemstone Legends, I feel like there are, you can really kind of cater it to what you're able to do, and you can log in for 30 minutes a day and get everything that you need done and not log in again. And if that's your play style, you can do that. Or you can really dig down deep and you can have strategy, and there's guild wars and arena and all these other things that you can focus on that are a little bit more in depth on things that you're gonna need or not really need, that you have to devote more time to those. Now, I stay at home, so I'm able to be on quite a bit more than some other people. So I can kind of like pick and choose what I want to focus on that day, and it's fine. But I think that the developers have done a really good job of making a game where, depending on how much time you can put into the game, you can cater that to your personal play style, as well as like what heroes you want to use and all that. I really feel like yes, there are some events that are definitely feel more towards like spenders or people that are on all the time. So if you're one of those where you can only get on 30 minutes a day, there's going to be a lot that you're not going to be able to really focus on, like completion of events or really going into arena hard. So you can progress for sure no matter what level you choose, but if you're only going to be on a little bit, it is going to take more time to develop your heroes and your account and do all of that. So I think it's pretty awesome though that, no matter what your real life throws at you, if you're in a guild, if you just can spend 30 minutes a day, pretty much, you can complete all of the requirements that you're gonna need to make those expectations. So that's all that I have for today. I really appreciate you all coming in. I hope that some of that information is helpful to people. I'm going to continue on in this series. If you can think of other things, I have a growing list of stuff that people really wish that they knew when they were first starting the game. So hopefully this makes somebody's newness a lot easier. And thank you guys so much. I hope you have a wonderful day.